This is another New Black World Order TV Productions here in Richmond, Virginia. I got my comrade, my friend, my family, Brother Timothy of the Nation of Islam, number 24 here in Richmond, Virginia. What's happening, my brother? What's the subject today?
Well, blessings, the subject is always do for self. It's your brother Timothy here in the 804 in the Cap City, as you have seen us before. We're all on the YouTube with Twitter. Long story short, the time has come for us to speak out. A lot of times people has been guesstimating, but now we are estimating that the day, in a few seconds it could be. You know, you may come to the reality that it is your time, your turn to start studying. Maybe you have not read enough deep into the politics and the procedures that twist and change so much. But God has given us a clear-cut focus on the persons that's in positions of power. These people that we see in the background, behind the scenes. It could be the courts, it could be the social service building. I have complained in my city, even to the mayor, about the conditions, the daily realities of the trash in the streets. They claim that they're cleaning up the community. They claim they're cleaning up their language, but they have not cleaned up themselves, their self. And when they do an introspection of their self-examination, they will find that they have wronged themselves. Therefore, in a prayer, the Muslim is asked to repent and atone, and to follow his own conscience if he has one. He's to build a positive conscience. And if you continue to follow our words, if it don't make sense to you now, it will make sense in the aftermath. Because like I said, a lot of times the news, they report bits and pieces, but they don't give you the full dose of the reality of with a solution. So the word for the day is always do for self for me. But in this community, I don't see that our politicians have done enough for us. In the background, I can tell you the John Marks, they are trying and judging people. As we speak, somebody is on trial today. Some person right there in our community, a lot of complaints. But here it is that right here, the GRTC, the mayor has allowed them to utilize a system that brings everybody, these mobsters, they fight right here, these gangs and different ones that's behind the scenes, they fight right here in front of the city hall and where they have the police station, not even a rock's throw down the street. These commissioners and all these people is in a conspiracy. In the city of Richmond, there has been a conspiracy. And the people that smile in our face, that say they serve us, have not served us well. But there has been a few spokespersons, but they dismiss them as radicals.
Right.
I think if you could come with the positive solution in their face, they would ignore it, as they always have done. They want this thing to be trashed. They had a clean and safe program where they would at least come out to clean up the community where you wouldn't have to stand on top of garbage. Our city hall looks like the city dump. Our city hall looks like the city dump, and this GRTC at nighttime, they close the doors where the kids got to piss in the bushes. Yeah, they have to release their urine in the bushes, grown men or old people that's on medication. There's no service for you at nighttime. In a dark hour, you may not have a friend. So Brother Timothy is here to tell you that the change that city has now come. The change, we must demand change, immediate change. We're in the office of change. Obama is here, and he should have our back. I'm not afraid to step out and command some of these mayors and different ones. Dwight Jones can do a lot better. Brother Timothy is no physical kin to him other than being a black man. And I don't think that he should deny himself an interview. He should sit down with me and see how we can clean up not only the streets, but clean up our language, clean up these damn politics, clean up these courts. May God continue to bless you follow us.
Brother Minister Timothy, I hear you speak about doing for self. In the spirit of doing for self, how could we continue to expect the people that you mentioned to be responsible for doing something that evidently they're not going to do, which brings us back to the concept of do for self?
Well, I think that they will do it once we enforce it. I mean, they claim they're enforcing laws. The first law of nature was self-preservation. When we get sick and tired of doing, you know, what we have seen with no positive results, and that's being followers and flunkies and taking a little bit of crumbs from the social services, you know, I mean, it's all designed to keep us in a certain position while they exalt themselves. They can be brought down and brought low by the true and living God. The Supreme Being has already spoken. He's present to judge them and the house.
Right. So you know, here at our TV audience, New Black World Order, a lot of our people ask a lot of questions, so I try to ask the right questions while we're doing the interview.
Okay.
again, in the spirit of doing for self, and if you say that Allah God is here and Allah God is present, and
omnipresent,
Allah, okay, then Allah is God.
At all times.
Why would we continue to demand something from somebody other than ourselves and somebody other than Allah? Because why is Allah present if Allah can't solve the problems that we're placing on government?
It belongs to Allah. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. He has allowed different governments to come into existence, but him having the supreme authority, you know, at some point they will have to acknowledge his rule. They have long time seen it, but they have noticed his mercy. He's not really stepped right in and taken back what as we will have to do. Because I don't believe that if we stood before them in the time, Elijah Muhammad said something that I think is so necessary, and Malcolm and all of them pushed it. There's a program that Ms. Farrakhan stands for today, the 3 Economic Program, and how we must continue to support and pool our resources. If you don't become a part and join on to your own, then you should be left behind. If you want to live, you should choose life.
Okay.
It's a life and death matter.
So,
it's as simple as that.
So,
if you're ashamed of your own,
we don't owe
you nothing.
Have you been able to meet with the mayor?
Well, not recently, because I have been hospitalized.
Okay.
You know, I had to, as a veteran in the United States Army, I had to go to McGuire and be observed, an examination. I was not afraid to go to them. Right. And I have talked with some of the officials over there about some benefits.
And we sympathize with, you know, whatever situation you was going through, because you are our family here at New Black World Order TV. When we enjoy always
there's been concern about my well-being, but I am safe. In Allah's care, and the brotherhood is getting stronger.
Okay. So, Brother Minister Timothy, could you tell us if you plan to meet with the mayor in the future?
I do.
Do you plan to meet with the head of social services?
We the people, when I say that, I'm speaking to the people, and I'm listening to a lot of complaints I already know. But my spirit is being pricked. God said I will come down and visit them. If you feel God in yourself, if his spirit is with you, at some point, you know, you sit back and you're not so much in the comfort zone, but God laughs. Not that it's fun, it's not a sick sense of humor, but he laughs at these people. He said, let my people go, but if you continue to cling to a system that has failed you, come out from among them, is what he has said. The supreme authority, he has advised you to come to the government that we are building, a safer nation that you should not be ashamed of. We are workers out here, and a workman that need not be ashamed. When your conscience serves you well, you can stand before the mayor, the president, and anybody else, and not only request, but demand. They will have to respect you in your move. It's a powerful movement that you must join on to, and God has to be enforcer of it.
In the event that this meeting occurred with you, between the mayor, the head of the social services, and also to add maybe a meeting with the head of the GRTC, some of these issues that you brought up further, if they do not do anything, does it really just take us back to the real context of the word do for self? We must do it our way.
In the individual self, even collectively. I mean, you might find yourself in a prison cell. At some point, they could entrap you. And see what you can do by yourself after they take all the unity and everything. They might, these wicked ones, after you become so boisterous and expressive and successful, they will try to hide the light. And they will try to get the messenger to compromise, if you will. They will try to buy his tongue, to maneuver it, to speak their language.
Right, that's what I was saying, like Elijah Muhammad.
He had been wickedly wise.
Yeah, like Elijah Muhammad did, he financed his own operation.
You must do this as well.
I don't ever recall that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad met with the head of the social services or the mayor.
Well, he didn't have to. He had many ministers that can go out and represent the nation. He had those talented brothers and sisters
like yourself.
Whose spirits was inspired to go, just like God sent a lot of these. We all are messengers. When I say, you know, we have the same message. We don't change it. Right. We shouldn't be doing anything but going straight to them. Like you have seen Jonah, he stood before the kings and it came off in sackcloth and ashes. Maybe our mayor will do that as well.
Okay, all right.
When you're sleeping with the great whore, you know, something that God said we shouldn't do, you might get a disease, a social disease even.
All right, so we're going to switch it up a little bit. I would like
a few more minutes.
Yes, sir. I would like to ask you a question.
An appointment.
Yes, sir. I'd like to ask you a question, Brother Minister. And it's the same question that I asked Minister Mustafa Shabazz Allah. Does the Quran invalidate itself when it attaches itself to the Bible, even after the Quran has made those biblical so-called corrections?
after the Quran is made to be looked correct.
Right.
Allah speaks the truth. He's the best knower in the book, there is no doubt. I use his own words, the words of the Supreme Being who put the message before us. As we ascertain it and break it down into our own, translate it into what is necessary today, Allah will inspire us on every level. The word is alive today. We've become enlivened by the word of Allah, and on every instance it is applied. I don't think that, I think that King James, who had tampered with the word of the original scientists, those who had fasted and did all of those things to bring before us a clear vision of what the future and its potential could be, and what the Supreme One who would do, the most exalted of the divine wisdom that ever went on before, that one who had inherited not only the earth, but the mind of the original Supreme Being, we know him today. He is not a mystery nor a spook. The government has learned much about the reality of what man can do. Just one man, and one man can inspire another to become messengers.
So, Brother Minister, I think I should rephrase my question or ask it again, because I don't think you really answered the question. You know, the Quran is put forth as a companion to the Bible, almost
to
like
clean it up.
To clean. That's why. So I asked the question.
So there be no confusion, no doubt. That's why.
So that the Quran would be valid. In order for the Quran to be valid, the Quran is saying that it had to correct the errors that's in the Bible.
Well, there had to be a foundation, but there was even a new book. Allah is continually guiding people. That was just something to get the attention of the person, to put them on the right path, to get them, prepare them for the physical presence of the God.
So you're saying that the Quran
is like a map, if you will, get instructions on how you can prepare. Allah will not accept us in our condition after we've been so tampered with and abused.
So, Brother Minister, what I'm saying is,
you need a new book, and we have that today.
Did the Quran...
You have a new world order, right?
Right. I'm saying, did the Quran properly correct the errors in the Bible?
Well, I only know that we must continue to believe in the Supreme Divine Being, and whatever He has put forth in the new, we can go to the foundation, and that's what I see as reference. But if that has helped you improve your life, because if you notice, it gives you guidance, it prepares you mentally and physically. That's what the Quran is up for me.
Right.
I don't get lost in the Bible, brother.
I know.
The Bible only foretells of the reality of the Quran.
But who wrote the Bible?
The writer of the Quran.
Who wrote the Bible, Brother Minister?
Many men put their hands to it.
The original Bible, where did it come?
Many men put their hands to it, brother. They all have been documented. Different messages, different men who have lived and was exalted in their time. You know,
so those men came from Allah.
And these are realities today. We have come to the fulfillment of every one of those realities, be it men of the past. Some of them we have seen them functioning. They are the functionality of the man today.
Right. But I was wondering, the men that you say that handled the Bible or wrote the Bible.
I want to get lost and confused.
No, I'm not. That's why I'm asking.
That is not my work. Yeah. I'm working on today.
Right.
You know.
But listen. If the Quran came to correct the errors in the Bible, then there is no confusion because it corrected it.
I'm not confused about it
at
all.
Did the Quran correct the Bible?
I believe it should have, but yeah, because like I said again, it even clears the fact that they was worshiping Jesus,
right?
Or they had a confusion about the one of the past, who was all to prepare them for the time of today and what man would do today, the divine man.
Right, because I was feeling that
the divine man.
I was feeling that
different ones brought a semblance.
Okay, right. So because they wanted to keep the message clear, they wanted to keep confusion out of the message. So the Quran came to clear up the confusion that's in the Torah and that was in the Injil.
It was necessary.
Okay, so does the Quran, after its correction, does it find itself still needing to correct the Bible?
I think we need to
did Allah do a good job in the first time of correcting the Bible?
Well, like
did Allah do a good job?
The best Noah would come. The book is the Quran is the word of the best Noah. He can describe himself as that. So what they heard before, now they're getting it from the hand of God or the wisdom of God. They're getting it from a more direct source.
Right.
You know, all of the book with the messages before that, they spoke of the coming of Allah. Allah now speaks for Himself in the Quran.
Right. So that's why I'm asking the question to you or to Allah.
One who studies.
Because if you say Allah is not a spirit and Allah is a man and He's here, then that would mean that Allah is in front of my face, you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
in
Allah.
In person.
Yes, sir.
That's why Elijah
I can
said,
see the
Master Muhammad,
divinity
God in person.
Right.
God is in every person who
Right.
will allow him to be. If you function on your humanality, we'll become beasts. But when you tap into your divine, you become a human being. That's what you don't see today. We see vessels. Some of these have no direction. They're dependent on others to guide them.
So after Allah corrected the Bible, there was no need to correct it anymore. We had sure guidance then.
Well, yeah. If you have now been introduced to the man that the Bible is pointing to you, yeah, you should. I ain't saying throw the book away, but some people say it belongs.
I'm talking about, but once Allah points out the errors,
confused in that book.
Once He points out the errors and straighten them out, and you read it from that position, then Allah is saying that He corrected everything in it and He left no errors there.
Yes, and now you need to depend on the best Noah. He is now.
So why would we need a third book if He corrected it?
Now that He got your physical right, now He's winning your trust here. The best Noah is now preparing you for what He has in store for you. He said, I have a kingdom.
Which is the third book.
And some people that's going to get lost by their denial of His presence, those are the ones that are going to separate and fall away. But those who have benefited from the leader, the supreme leader, his guidance is now so valuable and vitally necessary that we don't even have no other God before Him.
Okay.
The God has made Himself known, brother, and our people are the people of God. Did He not say? Jesus said, we are all gods, children of the Most High God. But if we came in some baby state and baby form, that's why it's hard for different ones to judge. We can see your condition, but to judge you and where your direction is going, you should come to the house. You should come to the body, and there is a head. That's what we call supreme leadership.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay. All right. Okay. Peace.
May Allah continue to bless.
May Allah bless you too, brother minister. Peace. All right. No doubt. This is another new Black World Order TV production.
Peace and blessings.
I would say we got.
That's a beautiful thing. You're right.
Yes, sir.
That's right, exactly.
Brother minister.
Y'all keep on building. I got to go.
Minister.
Yeah, I'm getting
this
ready
is Mustafa, Minister Mustafa Shabazz Allah.
We'll see you again, brother.
Yes, sir. True indeed.
I was late
Yes, sir.
but I had to talk with him.
Yeah, I'm late to work, but I got to get to him.
Okay. Brother Minister Mustafa Shabazz Allah. I'm glad you came up. You feel me?
Yeah, brother. I'm glad to see you back down from the Queen City.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? That excursion, I know it was a blessed one.
It was wonderful.
You know what I mean?
It was
but
wonderful.
It's not, hey, Sister Thompson, how you doing? This is not really, it's a beautiful day, but the blessings need to be more abounding. We right now, and I'm speaking not from the physical sense, I'm speaking in the spiritual sense, we are living in fear of extinction right now.
Okay.
When I say this life, living in fear of extinction, I'm saying it because right now we have returned back into a state of helplessness. We are being outright shot and killed in the street today with no remorse, no justice, and it's a sad state of affairs. I mean, truly, what is it going to take? We work, we play, we build, we strive for excellence, and it's not enough for us to live with these people in agreement or to be agreeable with these people to live in peace and harmony. They don't have our best interest in mind, and I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it until we get it in our heads that we need to do something about ourselves.
Right.
For ourselves. With ourselves. We need to stop thinking that everything is fine and sweet and dandy and the sweet by and by and hoping for our little piece of pie and land in the sky. There ain't no real estate that you can possibly want to attain called heaven outside of this planet that you're going to be safe.
What?
They got a space station built out there waiting for you to come. But I'm saying this to say that they just killed the brother down there in South Carolina.
Right.
The man ran in fear of being locked up for back child support.
Right.
He pushed the taser away and ran, and the man shot him down in cold blood 8 times. in the back.
Like an animal.
Then turned around and said he feared for his life. How could you fear for your life and you the one with the gun? You the one with the power.
Right.
You the one that can exercise due diligence in securing the person of an individual who's fleeing from justice. You have that. The same way that gun gave you the power to kill that man is the same way that the rules, laws, and regulations which govern you give you the right to call for backup and help and aid and assistance in apprehending that individual. But you didn't do that. Another instance was a young man that got shot down in Florida. Another unarmed man, 25 to 26 years old. They swept that under the rug. Just as quick as they said it, boom, you heard nothing else about it. They just flashed it, showed his picture, said he was shot down in cold blood, boom, that was that. This is a throwback to what was going on in the 40s and 50s. You know, everybody wants to talk about the new Jim Crow. Ain't nothing new about Jim Crow.
It's the same old, same old.
It's the same old, same old.
Right.
It's the same thing, but in a different time, addressed to a different situation and circumstance. Why? Because we got guns now. We were never properly, you know, Malcolm talked about this. We need to form rifle clubs.
Exactly.
We need to properly learn how to shoot, how to handle, how to take care of firearms.
Gun responsibility.
Responsibility. With accountability comes responsibility. With responsibility comes what? Peace.
That's right.
Because
you gotta have peace.
If you don't have no peace and no harmony within yourself, only thing that you're going to create is chaos, confusion, and more conflict.
Right, and if you don't have no peace, that peace will still, shit can get real.
Look, Medea said, yeah, I got peace, I got a piece of steel. I keep one in my purse, I keep one on my body, I keep one in the car, in the glove compartment.
Let's get that peace.
Let's go get some peace.
Right.
Now, I understand armed conflict, but I also understand conflict resolution.
Right.
The resolution was given to us, but we didn't take heed to it. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught that we need some land on this earth that we can call our own. This way here, we can govern ourselves. We can take care of ourselves. We can police ourselves.
Right.
This is what I was speaking about having sovereign immunity. You know what I'm saying? Divorcing yourself from this corporation called the United States of America that's formulated as a government. It's not a government, it's a corporation, it's a business. And it's in the business of making wars and stealing resources.
Right.
So that it can continue to live in luxury.
Blood-suckers
of the poor. They are the true 10%. And as long as we're in this country trying to live the quote-unquote American dream, we will continue to have nightmares. We will continue to be suffering. Our mothers will continue to cry. Our babies will continue to be hungry. I was just looking at a situation where they said 30% of the teachers in the United States are coming out of their pockets to feed children in schools. Their parents, because of the lack of the proper income to take care of their children, are relying upon the school system's aftercare programs to feed their children. This is a real sad state of affairs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, brother man.
That you can't even feed your children at home, that you got to rely on the schools to feed your children while you go out and work and scramble just to be able to put food, clothing, and shelter on their back. I mean, really. I mean, it's insane to continue to think and behave in a manner that's not consistent with human right, godly right. It's insane. Anything other than that is uncivilized.
What?
And the civilized is responsible for the uncivilized.
Okay.
And if the civilized does not perform their duty, which is teaching civilization to others what must be done, they must be punished.
Right. That's what I was telling Brother Timothy before you came up, that he was saying that the politicians ain't doing enough, social services ain't doing enough.
Listen, they're only doing what they were educated to do.
That's what I was trying to tell him.
You can't expect more from a, listen, first and foremost,
you got to do for self.
You need to do for self. This building called Social Services is only geared to aiding and assisting you until a time that you can do better for yourself. They have programs, they have job training classes and things like that that's here as a resource, untapped resource for you to get ahead. If you don't partake of these things and you just sitting around thinking that, oh, okay, I got food stamps now, I can just sit back. You know what I'm saying? If you don't partake of these things, then you can't fault these people for not providing you with what you want when you don't take your time to get involved in that.
Especially if you under the direct guidance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who taught us to do something for ourselves and do not lay the burden of responsibility at the white man's feet.
Listen. As long as you continue to act like Lazarus and continue to snatch crumbs off of the slave master table, guess what? That's all you're going to get is crumbs.
Teach.
That's all you're going to get. The same paradigm is applied in this way. If you continue to do what you've always done, you continue to get what you always got. That's why we live in fear of extinction to this day.
Isn't that insanity?
That is called insanity. We have to realize and recognize the signs of this sickness that causes our suffering. And it all points back to us.
Do for self.
As long as we continue to do those things that is not right and pleasing to the God of your understanding, however you choose him or her in your life or express him or her in your life, you will always be in abject slavery. Slavery to someone else's ideals, slavery to someone else's worldview, slavery to someone else's accord, someone else's design for living, someone else's feeding you, clothing you, sheltering you. When they get ready, they put you out. If you rent, that's a contract. We don't have to partake of your services no longer. We made enough money above you, you need to go. But if you own your own home and some of the earth up underneath that home, can't nobody evict you but you. We talked about formulating a coalition of vendors so that we can enjoy some of the rights and privileges of small business ownership, so we can fall up under the rules and guidelines of those that have small businesses, so that we can enjoy the rights and privileges of doing those things. This is a good idea. Why? Because now it empowers us to be a voice, to be able to go and sit down in that Chamber of Commerce down there called the General Assembly or the City Hall and the City Council meeting and give voice to our aims, our needs, and seek redress for our grievances.
We're not asking for a handout.
No, we saying, listen, this is what we need, this is what we require, this is what we demand, this is what we command. If we pay taxes, then we need to be a part of that tax ideal. You know what I'm saying? We need to be a part of those tax programs. The same thing that, you know, me and Brother Manifest was talking about as far as dealing with the agricultural. He just came back from an agricultural conference out there in Las Vegas. And the same thing that we was talking about is setting up these farming communities, these urban farming communities, is that we need to provide pure, natural food
for our people,
for ourselves. And it's simple to do. Our grandmothers and grandfathers used to do this back in the day. But we got away from that.
Back to the farm.
Now everything is genetically modified. You can find any fruit or vegetable that you want that's pleasing to your eye and feeling desired for your taste all year long. But you can do the same thing in your backyard. And I just wanted to express these things because this is a serious state of affairs that we exist in right now. And if we don't come together as a people, we're going to die individually each and every day as a non-entity. Come together.
I want you to actually go in on that. Really go in on this extinction word that you got on this frequency you got on you this morning.
When you talk about extinction,